Becker, swim dodge, fires and scores! Skipping a step, behind the back! Pass, the extra look, and the goal! Shot on goal and good.
A beautiful day here on Long Island. We're live from Northport High School with a spot in the Suffolk Girls Lacrosse Class A Championship game on the line. The defending Long Island champion Northport Tigers come in ranked 6th in the nation, having won 53 of their last 54 games, and are led by a pair of All-Americans in Ella Cabrera and Kaylee Makiewicz. They take on the Commack Cougars, featuring a golden generation of young talent and a freshman class that has vowed to beat the Tigers before graduating. Would be the first time in school history. They'll get their chance now. It's Northport Commack with everything on the line right now on the Varsity Media Sports Network. I'm Gavin Shull, alongside longtime Farmingdale coach, 3-time state champion and Long Island Metropolitan Hall of Famer Tracy Weiner. Tracy, last time we had Northport, we saw their 46-game winning streak snapped at the hands of the New Canaan Rams. Since then, they've won 7 games in a row and reestablished themselves as the favorite in Suffolk County and perhaps New York State. But to do so, Tracy, they'll have to get past Commack today.
Yeah, Commack is definitely a motivated team. They're young. They feel like they've earned their spot, beating an exceptional Smithtown East team in the quarterfinal rounds. So for them, sometimes the young guns just come out to play and have some fun, and that could be the most dangerous team of all.
So let's take a look at the bracket. The big news coming out this morning, Ward Melville beating William Floyd. So the winner of this game will take on Ward Melville. It was an excellent matchup between Northport and Ward Melville when they played earlier this year, a 9-8 game. But as we just noted, they have to get past Commack first.
Absolutely. The one thing that Northport can't do is look past this game and look at Ward Melville. So, for Northport, though, you look at their roster. They're stacked with talent. They are senior stacked. This is a team that thought that they could have been state champions last year and were denied that basically by, the COVID restrictions. So they're kind of on a mission still this year.
Commack, a team defined by their underclassmen. Again, they have more freshman starters than they do senior starters. Their top scorer, though, is a veteran, Ashley Kolomaychuk. 65 points this season, 38 goals, 27 assists. She'll be the name to watch trying to puncture that Northport zone.
Yeah, Kolomaychuk is going to have a mistake-free game today, no turnovers. And when she has the opportunity to score, she is going to have to bury it in order for Commack to start to build momentum against the Northport zone defense.
The name to know for the Northport Tigers, one of the best players in America, Ella Cabrera, the North Carolina commit, a 5-star, the 19th ranked player in the country, according to Inside Lacrosse, an Under Armour All-American game selection. Like you, Tracy, she's a long resume.
Yeah, she sure does. And you don't get to go to UNC for no reason. They are the #1 team in the nation. So, again, for Cabrera, what has to happen is she has to establish herself early. Maybe as the game goes on, she can dish the ball off to her mates when the pressure comes off of them and the nerves. But to start this game off, Cabrera has to show why she's one of the top players in the United States.
Carol Rose noting that Cabrera, essentially, since coming into high school, has been an elite defender, but the big improvement this year, she's turned herself into a true two-way midi. She's ready for the college game, but still has some unfinished business at the high school level. Let's get a look at the starting lineup for the Commack Cougars. And we noted it's not just Kolomaychuk, it's a whole lot of youngsters as well. Caitlin Mileniak, Emily Parisi, Emma Hendry, rounding out the attack group, Lily Pettit, Amelia Bright, Michaela Burke, Kendall Clark, leading off the midfield, and then Clark on the defense, Bella Campa, Kate Hearns, Bella Lanza, Olivia Bradley. It's that pair of midfielders you have to look out for on Commack, Lily Pettit and Amelia Bright. They were 2 of the 3 8th graders that started for the Cougars there a year ago. And you talked to Melissa Reed, she said, we've never had young talent quite like this.
Yeah, they're just excited. She said, we're not just excited to be here. Obviously they are, but they're excited to see how far they've come and how much further they have to go. But she believes that the future is so bright at Commack. She's very relaxed. Her team is relaxed. And again, they're just excited to still be playing lacrosse late in May.
So we'll take a quick break on the Varsity Media Sports Network, come back with the Northport starting lineup and the opening draw control spot in the Suffolk County Championship game on the line.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect sets and music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel?
Back to it here at Northport High School. A look inside the Tigers huddle. And now let's take a look at their starting lineup, Tracy Smith. And to your point, it's all about vets. It's all about depth. Everyone on attack, Shannon Smith, Kaylee Makowitz, Grace McCarthy, Julia Huxtable, 3 of the 4 have scored at least 40 points this season. The midfield, Ella Cabrera, Emma McLam, Isabella Germani, star-studded as well. Charlotte McGrody, Angelina Longo, Emma Brazier, and Emma Greenberg lead the defense, along with recently committed goaltender Megan Morris heading to Marist. It's a Northport group that lost a lot of talent defensively, a bit on attack, but as they often do under Carol Rose, they reloaded.
Well, absolutely. And again, they have their hands full, does Commack, with the experience that Northport brings on the attack. But Northport is known for their zone defense. They're one of the few teams in high school sports that plays that super aggressive zone close to the Stony Brook, although there is variations to it, as we all know. But it gives teams fits if you really don't know how to beat it.
And the big emphasis for Carol Rose is for her team to avoid penalties. That's, of course, what tripped them up against that New Canaan team that's also ranked in the top 6 in the country. A yellow card. The Rams ripped off 3 goals, and that game was never quite the same. But since then, Northport has gotten more disciplined. Carol Rose complimenting her veterans' poise on offense, and they've sort of hit their stride as we reach the end of the season.
Well, as you play an aggressive style, you're going to have to deal with the penalties. And the first thing that Northport's going to have to do is feel out the officials today. And they're going to have to see if they're going to let them play or are they going to call a tight game. And I think that will be the biggest adjustment for Northport moving forward. If the officials let them play, then Commack has to make a huge adjustment because it's going to be a very physical game.
And if you're Melissa Reed and you're in that Commack huddle and you're looking at a whole bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds, what are you saying to your girls on this kind of stage?
Have fun, ladies. Have fun. I mean, this is what we want to be. If we look across the field, Northport's been doing it for so many years. This is where we want to be. In order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And if you can't beat them, then we have to see how much further we have to go. But again, when you look in your huddle and you see 8th, 9th, 10th graders, you know that your future is so bright that you're just excited to be playing, like I said, late into May. They're a loose team. It's a beautiful day out. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather, maybe like 5 degrees cooler, but other than that, it's all good.
Commack has never beaten Northport in school history. You talked to Melissa Reed, who's been involved in the school for nearly 2 decades. She said, no matter what we do, no matter how many games we win, no matter how many games they win, we always seem to end up playing Northport. They've gotten that fate again. Will it be different this time around? We're about to find out.
I definitely know the feeling when Farmingdale, whenever he got to the Long Islands, it was always my best friend across the field from me, So Carol and I would always make a bet, whoever won had to pay for, the other one had to pay for dinner at the end of the Long Islands.
Was there any trash talk there, or was it
always
friendly?
Oh, no, I'm a trash talker. Carol isn't as trashy as me, but I'm definitely a trash talker, and she's gotten the best of me several times, and there was a couple of times I squeaked by her Northport girls, but it's always fun, but I'm definitely the trash talker out of the two of us.
So we'll get underway now. It's Commack in black. It's Northport in white. Again, the winner will go on to play Ward Melville as Emma Hendry gets ready to contest Emma Greenberg on the draw control, and Greenberg able to knock it back, or excuse me, it was Grace McCarthy in the draw control for Northport knocking it back, and we are underway on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Yeah, McCarthy is her draw specialist, and she struggled in the New Canaan game, and I thought that was a big reason why they did not win against New Canaan, was because McCarthy struggled in that day. If she's dominating the draw, you'll see Northport blow the game out.
McCarthy started her sophomore year on draw control, which is not all that common at Northport. Circling the net is Shannon Smith, and she'll redirect it back out to Ella Cabrera. It's sort of a who's who on offense for Northport. Every girl seems to have 30 goals, 40, 50, 60 points. It's a pick-your-poison situation for Commack.
It is, but, and you do a smart play like that. So Smith did have an angle. Her hands were free, but she didn't feel like it was a high-percentage shot. 90% of girls are going to take that shot and build the goalie's confidence, but Smith does not, and she allows the team to reset and go for a better opportunity.
Patience and poise have been the two terms for Carol Rose. Nifty move put on by Mackie Wicks, and the shot finds the back of the net. Northport up top early.
And that's a big play. So, again, I give that goal to Shannon Smith on just her smartness. She takes that bad angle shot on the original play. Goalie has confidence. Instead, they pull it out. Makowitz is their go-to on the offensive end. She pulls the ball up, switches hands, goes into her left, and then puts it by the goalie. And that's what you're looking for. And if Makowitz gets hot early, watch out.
Just a clean look on that little inside roll for Mackie Wicks this season. That was her 65th goal, 87th point.
Especially on a hot day like today, the one thing that you don't want to do as a young team is get behind 3, 4, 5 goals. It is going to take so much energy just to try to catch up in this game. And with this heat, by the second half, you'll be, have some tired legs out there, especially since they had a battle, in their Smithtown game where Northport was able to rest a lot of their starters.
A nice fight on the draw this time around for the Cougars. It's Amelia Bright snagging that ball, and we'll get a look at this Commack offense that, again, is full of youth, and sometimes it pays off to have young players against a team like Northport. It's that classic coaching adage, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You're just out there having fun. Nobody expects you to win. Nobody's counting on you, and that's the best feeling in the world. But again, they're going to have to deal with the Northport pressure. As you see, they pressure ball, and then the backer is there. And again, what you need to do is try to dump that ball off. Really, it's weak side pipe if you can get it to work.
And there's a lane for Hendry. Northport recovers, and the shot stopped by Morris.
Okay, so the difference that we see, right away, Shannon Smith pulls it out, gets a better angle shot. Hendry takes that. She was getting pushed to an outside angle. Easier save for Morris, and that builds Morris's confidence now moving forward.
Now Northport has numbers going the other way, though. That pass a little too tall for its intended target. Kate Atkinson. Another one of those youngsters for Northport, has been playing better and better as the season's gone along. Again, some nice patience by Smith, though this time she loses the ball. Knocked up by Bella Campa. Still in possession for Northport, and now turned over to Bella Lanza.
Yeah, and that was one of the times that Smith should have been a little more selfish. She made one pass too many.
Kate Hearns will try to break the Northport ride. Northport not particularly aggressive in that facet of the game. They look to get back and set up that zone.
Correct. I mean, they're going to make you work. And on a day like today, like I said, the second half is going to tell the story, because Commack's going to have to use a lot of energy just to figure out the zone defense.
Commack plays a lot of different girls off the bench, but doesn't necessarily have the same reliable depth that Northport does.
Well, and that playoff experience, that's a big deal as well. We have 3 officials out there today, so you'll see it's going to be a tightly called game, I believe.
And there's a call right there.
3 seconds. And that happens a lot in the zone. When you get a call for 3 seconds, you must be a stick length away from somebody. And if it's for more than 3 seconds that you're not, it's a penalty.
Emily Parisi gets it right into Hendry. Shot fired, and another easy stop for Morris. And a player down for the Northport Tigers. So we'll step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network, hope that she is okay, and we'll be back in just a sec.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect set to music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net.
Back on the Varsity Media Sports Network, a defender still down for Northport, so we'll take a second to update you on our upcoming sportscasts. We have the Catholic League Softball Finals. That'll be on May 25th, and then the day of the year on the Varsity Media Sports Network, May 26th, the Nassau Class A Boys Lacrosse Semis, and then Tracy, you and I will be covering the Nassau Class C Girls Lacrosse Semis at 4 and 6 p.m. See teams like Manhasset and, of course, Southside, who got the big win over Plain Edge yesterday. So the injured player for Northport was Emma Brazier, a senior committed to Westminster Academy, getting helped off the field now.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just an ankle and not a knee, but whatever it is, she's having just looks like she's getting her legs back out from under, putting a little pressure on it.
So that depth for Northport will be tested right off the bat, though the Tigers will get a second to put in a new players. They'll start off on offense. Morris again recently committed to Marist. Her older sister also starred for Carol Rose. Claire is now at Ohio State. Won a state championship here at Northport. And Morris just taking her time with no one open. Morris is saying, hey, we're winning. I can just run out the clock here if I want.
Right, I get to stand here all day if I want. Again, not like the boys' rules where you have to get it over the midline in 10 seconds, right? Is that what it is?
Tigers really taking their time. And now the pass, a risky one, up to Ella Cabrera and turned over. So that was a bit of a force from Morris. Amelia Bright comes up with the loose ball.
I mean, you expect some unforced errors or whatever, but not on a free play. Those Northport's going to have to minimize because every time that they make a mistake like that, they're allowing Commack to hang around this game, and they're building their confidence.
Were you surprised there wasn't more cutting towards Morris there?
Yeah, why not? I mean, Cabrera's your big dog. Give it to her. Let her cut towards you. No need to make a 40, 50-yard pass on that.
It's Emma Hendry. And now over to Lily Pettit. Pettit had a monster game in that big comeback win against Smithtown East. Scored 5 goals and had an assist. Again, Pettit, just a freshman. Circling is Kolomachuk. She's at her best, dodging from X, but nothing doing in front of the cage, throwing a risky pass.
And that's twice that Morris, active around the cage, has picked off passes. So Comack's going to have to protect the ball a little bit better, And again, that's just your youth, used to those kind of passes getting through.
And I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more aggressiveness from anyone on Northport trying to work their way back to Megan Morris.
They have their set plays, they have their set pieces, and I think, they're trying to work on a fast break, and there it is, wide open. So you just have to be patient and wait for a player to find the open green space.
Isabella Germani, the player that popped free, putting on a burst of speed, centering it to Cabrera, and Cabrera dispossessed. You don't see that too often. Good bit of defense from Bella Lanza.
Lanza got into the passing lane and just, picked that pass off. There were players open, but, Germani makes a cross-crease pass, and the Commack defender was right in the passing lane.
Lily Pettit brought it up on the clearance, and now over to Emma Hendry. Hendry has had a monster sophomore season, 24 goals on the year, a couple fakes put on by Parisi, and now back out. Pettit inside roll, looking for space, drawing the triple team. Now Hendry. Northport sliding right with the Commack attack. Kolomachuk harassed. Melissa Reed noted this week, Commack actually prefers to play against his zone offensively, saying they're more of a passing team than a dodging team. That's being put to the test right now, and the harassing Northport defense throws it away after forcing a turnover. It was a point-blank look, I believe, for Kolomachuk, but unable to convert.
Well, Morris made she bailed out her defense on that. They tried to get the ball back to her instead of moving it forward, and they passed it to a Commack player. Kolomachuk gets a great shot, but Morris is stick to stick and up for the challenge.
And now Morris will push the ball up the field to Kennedy Radzul. Cabrera on the touch pass. Numbers for Northport. And that pass behind Makowicz. So a little bit of sloppiness from the Tigers in the early going. Commack staying right in this game in turn.
That's going to exhaust the defense if they keep doing that. Every time, you get the ball up, you have to turn around and run another 50 yards back. I mean, Nice turnover there by Northport. That's a huge play.
Amelia Bright unable to handle the pass, so a missed opportunity for the Cougars. They've had their chances to even this game up.
They have. Definitely. I mean, the fact that it's only 1-0 and we're 8 minutes into this game, that's a good sign for Commack. But I will say that for Northport, it is a huge sign that Megan Morris is up for the challenge today. I mean, when your goalie is playing well, boy, oh boy.
She's gotten off to a really nice start.
Well, it takes the pressure off the defense at that point. Northport calling in their offensive play. Good job, Kobe Rose.
What are the defining characteristics of the Carol Rose offense?
Aggressive, super aggressive. It's a lot of pass and move. Nobody stands still. Everybody's got a role. Everybody is a weapon. She does not like to just feature one goal scorer.
And that plays out when you look at the numbers. Again, Cabrera at 54 points, Germani at 54 points, Mackie Wicks at 86, Smith at 59, Huxtable at 35. It's everyone eats, and that time a chance to eat for Isabella Germani, but just fired a little too tall of the cage.
It's a nice setup. I think what Carol likes to do also is watch the matchups, and then they'll determine who she believes has the best matchup, and they'll call that number. Hux is such a good feeder. I get the pleasure of coaching her all summer long, and she's really just one of those kids that. What a great back check that was.
Yeah, that time she was a little off on her pass to Emma McLam, and then Michaela Burke came in and won the ball.
Well, there's a stick check on the back end. You always have to protect your stick because when you play a young team, they're always going to back check. They're coming from all over. But, Northport's made some uncharacteristic, turnovers so far.
Risky crossfield pass. Lily Pettit showing off the athleticism, coming up with it. Lily Pettit, three-sport athlete, tic-tac-toe passing, and the official will stop it.
So obstruction of shooting space, they called it out, even though she was going to dish the ball off. She looked at the cage first. Defender slides in. So
a golden opportunity for Emily Parisi, the freshman, more of a pass or distributor than a scorer. 12 assists, 6 goals this year. A crucial moment for her to potentially add her 7th, facing down Megan Morris.
Well, we'll see. She's surrounded by Northport players, so we'll see if she dishes it off or if she just tries to go in.
Instead, she'll duck out, try and pass it out, check from behind. Parisi, quick stick to recover that ball. So we talked about this a little bit during that Southside Plant Edge game last game, but Northport, by committing that shooting space violation, bailing themselves out of perhaps a more dangerous situation.
Correct.
Quick look, quick shot, what a play! Beautiful ball movement, and Emma Hendry pays it off as Commack ties this game up at 1.
Emma Hendry's the one that they're going to have to watch out for. To me, she's the one that is kind of the fly under the radar player, and you'll see here she makes a backdoor cut as the ball is getting into the corner. And she just buries it. I mean, once it's in her stick, it's just a quick stick. She doesn't even take a second to cradle. It's a catch and shoot before Morris can recenter herself. And,
man, what a dodge and then pass by Kola Maychuk. That has been the big improvement in her game this year. Was more of a scorer as a freshman or a sophomore. It was the emphasis from Alyssa Reed this offseason saying, hey, you're the number 1 option now. You need to be a distributor as well. Kola Maychuk took that to heart, and we're seeing it play out on the biggest stage possible.
And when you're playing a zone defense, you must dodge because that's where the pressure is coming up at you, and you must dodge that first defender, and then you got to get rid of the ball.
So it's Grace McCarthy again versus Hendry. Chopped up, and it'll be Commack ball.
So right about now, Northport has to breathe. They're making some uncharacteristic turnovers. Penalty right here. What they can't do now is get frustrated, get a quick yellow card, and really give Commack some momentum because Commack's playing really well right now.
And it feels like it's picking nits with Northport because they're the 6th-ranked team in the country. They're 16-1 on the year, but some of those games have just been a little bit closer than in years past, and you get the sense that there's a little bit of vulnerability, and they just keep on winning despite that. As Mackie Wicks turns it over, Kate Hearns, good job on the backside check, and then nearly picked off. Ball skims wide, and Northport will have another opportunity. Emma Greenberg on the scoop. Now up to Cabrera. Cabrera sends it ahead to Smith, and now Northport will slow things down.
And you saw Smith's hand. She said, okay, guys, let's let's just breathe for a minute. I'm not used to Makowitz making mistakes. We're not used to, Cabrera, Germani, those guys missing the cage, making some mistakes. Everybody just breathe, and let's get back into the Northport offense.
Get it together, let's go!
See what they run here.
McLam putting on a couple moves. Can't make any progress. Now a little bully ball from McCarthy, inside then out. As Commack holds strong defensively, that group led by Bella Lanza, number 8 in black, the loudest player on the field in basically whatever field she's on. She's been fantastic directing traffic.
This is smart by Northport. You're giving your midfielders time to breathe. You're giving your defenders a chance to relax for a minute.
Cabrera on the backdoor cut finds Germani, and just like that, you fall asleep for a second, and the Tigers bounce.
And that's exactly what needs to happen every single time. I think with the young defense that Commack has, if Northport moves the ball, eventually it's going to break down. And you see here, it wasn't the first rotation, it wasn't the second rotation, but by the third rotation, people were able to backdoor cut right there. What a perfect pass, what a perfect look, and a fine finish.
And again, you catch a defender ball sliding. That was our whole conversation yesterday,
Yes.
Tracy. And great recognition by Germani is the way you phrase it. You see the ponytail, you go.
Correct. And that's the way it has to be. And when you catch a young defense ball watching, that's what you're looking for.
So this feels like another one of those crucial draw controls for Hendry. Northport tends to score in waves. You don't want to let them find a rhythm on offense.
And again, not on a day like today, not the first hot day of the year. It's exhausting. And like when we talk about the quarterfinal matchups, definitely, Commack had a bit of a tougher time of it where their starters had to play the entire game. And Northport was able to really rest a lot of their starters in the second half of their game.
And even that game was such a game of runs, and it shows you the highs and lows of this Commack team. They score the first 4 goals, they give up 7 in a row.
Right.
And as a younger group, pretty incredible against a really talented Smithtown East team. They have that fight to come back, tie it up with 4 minutes left. Game winner from Kolomaychuk. But it gives you an idea. They're capable of great spurts, and they're capable of really struggling.
Of course, and like right there. So there was no reason for that to even happen, right? You see that play, they're setting it up. The Commack player behind the cage.
Yes, Parisi.
Parisi, there was nobody even on her, right? And instead, you just make that pass that handcuffs her, and right away Northport comes, 70 yards the other way.
And it just gives Northport a chance to find a rhythm. And if you're Commack, you want one of those long offensive possessions of your own.
Correct.
Huxtable pushed out by Clark. Reset up top to Cabrera. McLam reversing field. Northport again, a number of close games since that loss to New Canaan. They had an 8-7 win over another Connecticut Power in Wilton, as Germani has it taken away. Another good bit of defense for the Cougars. It was Lily Pettit forcing the turnover, and now Commack draws the penalty.
Have a blocking call. It was close. You were looking for a charge, but you can't slide into the attacker space like that.
Way to go, Charlotte!
Lily Pettit and Amelia Bright, the 2-star freshmen. They've been quiet so far, but they will make some noise before this game is over. Both started as 8th graders on the midfield a year ago, and they have made a solemn vow to beat Northport before their careers are over. This, their first opportunity in postseason play.
It's a great goal to have. Again, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And for a high school team that's never beaten Northport, it's an obvious goal. And if they can achieve that, good for them. It makes you keep moving forward. It makes you keep working hard.
Yeah, 4 years to do it. Emma Hendry circling, fires, and that was a bit of a force, but she's backed up by Kolomaychuk.
She was looking for that upper corner and just missed.
Kolomachuk doubled, and she forces the ball. Trying to run under it was Michaela Burke, and Northport, thanks to some hustle that time around from Maddie Dunleavy, able to regain possession.
Yeah, Dunleavy does a great job there of, getting a step up.
Angelina Longo, the Arizona State commit, on the clearance here. Ambitious pass, completed it to Smith.
I'd like to see the defender close in a little bit on that, And your ride is so good, why would you leave 10 yards, 10-yard cushion between you and the down low player?
It's almost like giving up a release valve when you're trying to just
Yeah.
pack in all the pressure in the world.
Correct, and you give her an wide open pass.
Mackie Wicks. Same move as she pulled off on the first goal, and her space was interfered with, so she'll have a one-on-one opportunity against Olivia Bradley, the junior goaltender.
Yeah, you saw Bella Lanza slid right in there when Mackwich did the roll.
Bradley's had a lot of highs and lows this season, some draw-dropping saves and some moments of inconsistency. She'll face one of the top attackers in the country, and Mackie Wicks gets the better of that matchup, a 3-1 lead for Northport.
That was a smart play by Mackwich. She had to step on her defender, so she knew she had the time. And instead of just forcing a shot at a bad angle, she made the goalie move. And you'll see here, as she drives to the cage, instead of going straight at the goalie, she now right there bears to the right. And then once the goalie moves, she knows she has her.
And you take it for granted, but that sense of space to go right up to the circle and not step over the crease line.
Well, and the sense to know that you have more time than you think. A lot of people, we saw yesterday, remember Regan Morris really was rushing a lot of her shots around the crease, and that's the difference between a sophomore and a senior. Not understanding that you actually do have a second or two to put a fake on the goalie. It's all part of the maturation process of high school sports. You get these kids when they're like 13, 14 years old, and then by 17 or 18, they're completely different players.
And that'll be the takeaway from this game for Commack, win or lose. Just there's a wide open and long window for this Cougars team, but they're trying to arrive a little bit early.
Well, they are, and they had some chances. And what you need to understand is when you're playing the top team pretty much in the state and one of the top teams in the country, every opportunity that you have to score, you must. That's in any sport. I'm a big Ranger fan, and they could have put them away in the first period yesterday. They couldn't even score. And so when you allow a team to hang in there, no matter what age you are, it doesn't work out.
Especially against a great team. Mackie Wicks cutting middles. Cabrera denied by Bradley. Great save.
That was a great setup on that play, but a better save.
And that pass dropped by Bella Lanza in transition, so Northport gets it right back, and it's those
correct
harmless, or not harmless, but unforced errors that really come back to bite you.
That's correct, and that's just young kids, trying to get the ball up quickly and then starting to feel the pressure of the ride.
And is that one of those things when you've had a younger team on this kind of stage that sort of goes away as the game goes on? As there's an extra pass from Smith, unselfish as she finds Julia Huxtable on the finish.
Yeah, Hux is never going to miss that shot. She's a lefty. That's her strong side. And what happens here is everybody thinks that Smith's going to the goal and that she's going to shoot it. So she draws the double, and it's a classic draw and dump on the crease. And Hux, as experienced as she is never going to miss that shot.
Carol Rose called Shannon Smith her top passer, and you see it there, a 4-1 lead for Northport over Commack. Timeout for the Cougars. We'll be right back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Back to it on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A look inside the Northport huddle, led by Carol Rose in her 32nd season, the winningest coach in New York State with some quick math here because I forgot to add it beforehand. But, yeah, there we go. 464 career wins. She's won 2 state championships in 2011 and 2009 was in 2019, was the National Coach of the Year in 2019. She is a 9-time Long Island champion, a 13-time Suffolk champion, an All-American attacker at Manhasset back in the 80s. Pretty good career for your friend Carol Rose.
Yeah, she's all right. What can I tell you? Carol is getting to that legendary status. I mean, how many people can say they won 460-something games? And she's been coaching how many years? 32, which 32. Is surprising because, she started when she was about 7. So, she's walking around with that boot today, though. I have to make fun of her because I have to. And, of course, if they win today, I have to buy dinner tonight. So.
Oh, that applies even when you're not in the game?
Yeah, today was one of those. I said, come on, Coach, I'm announcing and you're playing, so you guys win, dinner on me.
Oh, you gotta unretire so you can get back in that mix.
If I unretire, I'm coaching with her, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's tough. Then you got to split it.
Right.
Chopped up, and a big win for Hendry. Lily Pettit on the recovery. Pettit has been money all year in those draw control situations, diving in from the wings, finding a way to win the ball. And you were getting into a little during the break, Tracy, but this is a crucial stretch of this game.
Correct.
For Commack.
100%. They need to score the next goal, or they run the risk of things starting to get away from them. There is only 6 minutes left pretty much in this half, which has gone really fast for girls lacrosse.
Kolomachuk nearly threw it away against the double. Hendry able to come up with it.
Got to keep moving your feet against the zone, and that's what makes it so exhausting, is you have to keep moving the whole time. Once you stand still, you run the risk of getting double-teamed and losing possession.
Lily Pettit had it knocked away by Longo, and you could tell there's that speed factor for Kolomachuk. Everything going just a little quicker than she wants it to, but a good look inside here. Quick dodge and a great slide to recover defensively by Emma Greenberg.
But again, Emma did a great slide to get to that double, but then the next slide from Northport came over slow, so when the ball was dished off, turns into obstruction of shooting space.
Amelia Bright with the free position. She has 38 goals this year, the freshman. An incredible season. Bright puts it in. That was her 34th goal of the year, and it's Commack getting back into this ball game.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Bright, and you look at it, and she really goes in untouched this whole time. So, she starts to run in, and she's really not forced to get rid of the ball because there's no pressure coming at her, which you'll see right here. There's defenders, but they're not anywhere near her on the body.
Yeah, Germani just not able to make up that space. Bright, also a starter on the Commack soccer team, which is extremely rare for a freshman in her own right. But talking to Melissa Reed, she said, I don't know if we've ever had a freshman who's this good at 2 sports this young.
And she could say that about her whole team at this point. I'm impressed with Commack and in terms of where they're headed. Clearly, they're playing with no fear today, which is, something that starts from the head coach. Just telling them, go out there, have a great time, and just let's see what we can make happen. And if they keep winning the draws, they can really get back into this game.
It's been a great job by Hendry there. And now a quick little dump-off shot saved by Morris. Man, oh man, what a golden opportunity for Commack, but Hendry couldn't get it past Megan Morris.
So far for me, Morris has been the best player on the field for Northport. She has really bailed them out of a couple of, in-your-face looks.
And transition the other way. Diving on the shot was Mackie Wicks. Couldn't quite get it to go, but Northport will maintain possession. Maybe one pass too many that time from Shannon Smith.
Agreed. Shannon Smith needs to take the ball to the cage. But again, Makowitz is their goal scorer. She was fouled on that, so let's see now if she can bury this 8-meter.
Makiewicz looking for a first-half hat trick and off the pole. Wow, that was close. And this ground ball won on the perimeter by Commack.
You see Makowitz bang her stick on the ground, just a little frustrated there. She's not used to missing those 8 meters.
And what a big sequence, right? Commack on the doorstep of making this a 1-goal game. Morris stopped Hendry. Then Olivia Bradley doing a good job covering ground, making that shot a little bit more difficult.
Well, again, I still think that Shannon Smith should have took that shot. She had the great angle. She was wide open. Being unselfish, trying to get it to their leading goal scorer. It's actually a benefit for Commack in the end. Sometimes it's okay to be selfish on offense. Sometimes.
And you just get the feeling the Cougars are going to start finding their footing a little bit more offensively. I mean, Tracy, I was about to ask you this before that last Northport goal, but with the younger team, do you find that big playoff game, as it goes on, the nerves sort of calm down a little bit or not so much?
They do, but at that point then, for me, it's going to be about halftime. Can Commack keep up this level after they've had an 8-minute break, an 8-minute rest in this heat? All the excitement of the first half now is gone. And so can you keep that momentum going into the second half?
And now it's Lily Pettit earning free position. Again, a decent amount of room, but 3 defenders in the vicinity. Pettit will go for goal, and Pettit will score, and we have a 1-goal game on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
I like the excitement on the Commack bench. Everybody from the coaches on are excited. They're doing their thing. They're dancing around. I mean, they're really having a good time of it, and that's what that's what you expect, where Northport's a little more down to business. But you'll see here, on an 8-meter, what you really want to do is alter the path of the goal scorer, and on the last 2 8 meters, Northport's defense has been unable to do that.
And that's been the story of this whole Commack season. Melissa Reed noting, on top of the fact that this team is really good, she's never had a more cohesive group. She said there's not a single player that has shown an ounce of selfishness all year. It's a rare team where you have seniors on the bench vigorously cheering on freshmen like they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's what makes a team good. I always used to tell my teams, know your role and become great at it. Whatever your role is, become great at it.
And another win for Commack on the draw control. An opportunity to tie for the Cougars, but Pettit rushed it, throwing the ball away.
That's a shame.
Longo up to Cabrera or Greenberg rather, and then she's fouled.
So they're going to want that play back if you're Commack at some point. You look at that, really what you needed to do with under 3 minutes to go is pull it out. Let's go for the tie. Keep the momentum going. Now what you're doing is giving Northport an opportunity to go back up by 2 goals going into halftime.
And another one of those things where you're a young team, right, and you kind of get a little wide-eyed. We just made it a 1-goal game. Our bench is freaking out.
Right.
How excited would they be if we just rip it and score again right here?
They would lose it,
and I'm sure Melissa Reed's saying, no, slow.
Correct. But, part of coaching is allowing your players to figure it out, especially the young ones. What they do their sophomore and freshman years, they're not going to do their junior and senior year.
Makiewicz draws the double. Great look inside, and a bouncer finds its way to the back of the net. Another goal for Julia Huxtable.
Hux is the woman, I tell you. I have the pleasure of her being on my team all summer long. She's a great kid. And you see right here, she's, understands that on a crease roll, high to high is the devil. So she's going to fake high, go low, and that makes the goalie adjust her stick. And a lot of times if you're a hard shooter like Hux is, the stick does not get there in time.
And Huxtable has been, I guess, is the younger player in that attack group. She's largely deferred this year, right? 10 goals, 25 assists coming into this game, but now has scored 2 straight. And maybe one of those things where as a sophomore, you're better at the end of the season than you are at the beginning of the season, finding her aggressiveness.
And she's one of those kids that you root for all the time, She's just been through it, but always has a smile on her face. She is the funnest kid on the sideline. She's the funnest kid at practice. She has the best sense of humor. She keeps the Northport team really light. She keeps our Yellow Jacket team really light and laughing all the time, and just a joy to be around. And you just want great things to happen for her.
And how about Hendry taking over on draw control, and it leads to a great opportunity, but Hendry couldn't pay it off running the length of the field.
That was a great setup by Commack, though, and that's a nice play.
Yeah, we talk about times to be patient. I didn't see anything wrong there for Commack, right?
Absolutely
That was well designed,
Correct.
well executed, and even with time ticking down near the end of the half, that's a shot you can live with if you're
Correct.
Melissa Reed.
You have a fast break, you go with it. That's how you play the game. Play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And again, they're only 2 goals down. There's a minute and a half left. Northport might hold for the last shot, although, Carroll's just not known for patience. on the offensive end. If the shot is wide open, she's going to tell her girls to go for it.
McGrody, an ambitious pass up the field to Atkinson. And
that's going to be a yellow card by Commack at the end of this game. So, and that's kind of an unnecessary foul. It's unfortunate. And again, you wish for the younger players, you just want them to take a breath and not have to do that. Hearns, it looks like, just gets over-aggressive on the sideline going for that 50-50. And, when you push down a player like that with your arms extended, you're going to get aggressive. So Carol's going to call a timeout here, and I don't blame her. It's a smart move with 1:20 left and man up.
And you saw Melissa Reed shaking her head a little bit. It was a big issue. The first time these two teams played, Commack committed 4 cards in that game. Northport looking to take advantage. Final minute of the first half coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Final 90 seconds or so, 70 seconds here on the Varsity Media Sports Network of this first half, and we'll take an opportunity to update you on our upcoming broadcasts, or rather sportscasts. We have the Catholic League softball finals coming up this Tuesday, and then a big day of the year on the Varsity Media Sports Network, playoff action, the Class A boys lacrosse semis, and then also in Nassau County, the Class C girls lacrosse semis, both next Thursday, and then, of course, the Suffolk Class A boys semis also on that day at 4:45. So it's a loaded day. Whatever you want to watch, we'll have it for you. And then, of course, the Nassau Flag Football Championship coming up May 26th.
All right, so let's see what a two-time 460-something win head coach draws up in the huddle.
It's 64. You don't want to sell her short.
No, I won't sell her short. That's for sure. I'll hear about it. Trust me.
So here comes Cabrera. Cabrera dishing it to McLam. McLam will put it in.
That was a nice play. We'll give that one to Coach Rose. Nice draw up there. Nice patience, especially when you're man up and you're able to move the ball like that. It's a beautiful thing. And I think what Carol said on that timeout, if I could crawl into that brain of hers, is you guys can score quick this time because it is unreleasable. So let's see how many we can get before the half, and reliving the New Canaan game. So when you say, what do you get from a loss sometimes, this might be what she got from that loss. It's like, look how New Canaan jumped on us at the end of that game with the yellow card. Let's do the same to Commack.
Yeah, New Canaan scoring 3 goals in 2 minutes between the first half and the second half. It was, to your point, Tracy, almost exactly second for second, the same situation, the same time in the game. The only difference was Northport was leading that game, and it flipped on its head. Now Northport a chance to bury it, and what a big face-off win for Grace McCarthy, not giving Commack a chance to run out the clock.
No, and she hasn't won a few, so that was a big one for her.
And Northport, again, they'll try to see how many they can get. Germani, dump off, pass fake, and then a score for Shannon Smith.
Be interesting to see if not only does Shannon Smith get the goal, but are they going to give Northport the ball at midfield? Because if the foul comes after the goal, then Northport gets possession, and I think that's what they're looking for. You look at the sideline, Carroll has more coaches almost than substitutes. So they're all saying, come on, we get the ball.
And now the Northport bench has very much come to life. They're celebrating a little bit. Probably got tired of watching Commack. And this game might have just flipped on its head. You could immediately see Melissa Reed shaking her head on the sideline the second that yellow card was picked up by Kate Hearns. she knew the implications right off the bat.
She did, and they are questioning, and I don't blame them. They're questioning why Northport doesn't have possession after that, especially if the foul came after the goal. But think about the goal that Shannon Smith just scored, okay? Because she clearly took her time, worked the crease, and buried it, and had the goalie moving instead of just catching and firing into the stick-to-stick.
And that was a big-time draw control by Hendry, because this could have gotten ugly. Instead, you can, hopefully, if you're Commack, just finish up this final 26 seconds, regroup, get into the half, and figure out what you're going to do to come back.
Right, and if you're Northport, even though you're man up here, what you don't want to do is be super aggressive and draw another card, so that they equal it up, because a lot of times the officials will look for that as well. And there we go. And here's the card. As if they were listening to Tracy. I can't believe that just happened. And my friends are listening to this broadcast. Rel, if you're laughing out loud right now, I don't blame you. So, again, they needed to be super aggressive, but the one thing that they needed not do was draw a card.
Especially up by 4 goals, so Isabella Germani will come off. It'll be free position, but not particularly close to the net for Kolomeychuk. So Kolomeychuk will look center and will force it as time just about expires, and that'll do it for the first half of action. Northport scores 2 goals late after Commack came back to cut it to 4-3. 2 after the penalty, I should say, 1 before, so 4-goal lead for the Tigers. But if you're Commack, you have that little bit of life going into the second half because of that yellow card.
Absolutely. That being said, they still have to scratch and claw now. It has to be 90 degrees plus on the turf to get just 4 goals just to tie. Really uphill task, but when you're 14, 15 years old, it doesn't seem that difficult.
We'll see if the Cougars can pull it off. After a 10-minute break, we'll be back for the second half on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect sets and music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect sets and music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect sets and music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Second half about to get underway here at Northport High School. Again, Gavin Shaw, Tracy Weiner here with you. Spot in the Suffolk County Class A championship game on the line, and both teams down a player. Tracy to open the second half, but the penalty for Northport will last a little bit longer. The Tigers paid it off initially with 2 goals. We'll see if Commack can find an answer when they're a player up.
Well, Commack, like I said to you during our halftime little chat, they need to scratch and claw right now to get back into this game because, the heat's a factor, the pressure of the game becomes a factor, trying to score goals becomes a factor. I was dying, you see the youth of Commack sitting in the heat in black jerseys, no tent, no nothing, the Northport girls all dressed in white, sitting under a tent, Commack won't make that mistake next year for sure.
It sounds like a small thing, but really does make a difference as the game goes along. As Lily Pettit, a quick recovery on that draw control, certainly not affecting the team speed of the Cougars to open this second half. Again, they do have youth on their side.
Absolutely, and they have draw control on their side. And that's going to be something that, whoever wins this game going against Ward Melville is going to have to sharpen that up because statistics normally show if you win the draw battle, you win the game.
And Emma Hendry has just been awesome in that matchup against Grace McCarthy. McCarthy, again, already an Eastern Carolina commit. Hendry certainly showing she deserves some recognition from colleges as well.
She'll get it. Right now, what Commack did was run off the penalty, and now they're man up.
And it's that interesting balance for Commack, right? Because you want to look for the best shot, but there is some urgency. This is probably your best opportunity to score some goals and more than one in quick succession against this Northport defense.
Correct, but what you don't want to do is force a shot and then give Northport, an opportunity to further the lead while they're man down. That's backbreaking.
So a fine line to be walked for Commack. Northport doing a good job holding up so far. And now the duck in and an opportunity. Couple of fakes put on by Mileniak and unable to get off a shot.
And again, a smart play, though, by Mileniak, not forcing it. You have no shot clock. There's no reason.
Got to figure the man-up opportunity nearly over, though. Big scoop from Burke, and now Burke gets a shooting space violation.
And lucky on that because the shot actually went in. So this might be a break for Northport.
It was hard to tell if Morris peeled off a little bit or if that would have been a good goal regardless as the shot's fouled, and now Morris in golden position to get the stop.
Morris makes a great save here. Unfortunately, she's in and out of the cage, so Commack will get the ball back, but the penalty now is over, and we're even up.
So Commack unable to take advantage of the mistake by Northport. Could prove pivotal, down by 4 goals with just a lot of ground to make up against a very good defense.
Well, it's going to take all their energy just to score 4 and get back in this game, much less, try to win out. You're almost going to have to hold Northport scoreless in this half.
It's worth noting there is some precedent against an elite opponent. Commack went up 4-0 against Smithtown East and gave up 7 in a row, so they were able to come back from 7-4, 7-3, the tougher task, but now it's 7-4, right on cue. Everyone's been listening into the broadcast. Michaela Burke puts it home.
Absolutely, and that's a big goal, like you said, because that gives them all the energy that they need, all the confidence back. Everybody's having a great time. And that's what this is all about today. And you can see right there, even while the contact is going on, you still find a way to put the ball in the cage. This is a big draw control right here. Let's see how Northport answers, because if they can win the draw right here and fast break it and score, that kind of takes the energy out of the sails. And Northport's trying to get their fans into this because it seems like Commack is the one with all the energy at this point.
And correction, it was Amelia Bright on that goal. Her 2nd of the game, 35th of the year for the freshman.
She's doing a nice job today, Amelia Bright. Really, really holding it together for Commack, and she seems to be the one that they go to.
Bright, again, just one of those players that has almost limitless upside, an incredible athlete, great lacrosse ability, and a relentless competitor. Just a full package for Melissa Reed in this Commack program.
Big draw control win right there for Northport.
And now the Tigers can, again, take a page out of that New Canaan playbook, take some time off the clock, stretch out this defense, but just a 3-goal game, so they have to be a little bit more aggressive than they otherwise would have been. Makowicz, quick shot. Smith battling and able to scoop it up.
Shannon Smith has quietly played a very good game for Northport today. She makes all the big plays and all the smart decisions. Again, Makowicz makes a nice move, but can't bury the shot.
That combination of Smith and Huxtable on attack, just consistently backing up Makowicz and of course, Ella Cabrera. Again, the 2 biggest names on this Northport team. And there's a quick run and a score. Julia Huxtable has a hat trick.
For me, Hux is the one that has the favorable matchup right now, and she's exposing that with her 3rd goal. Makowicz is going to draw the best defender. Cabrera is going to draw the 2nd best defender. Shannon Smith is on the strong side, but you have Hux on the weak side, who will draw that defender that she can really take to the hole every time. And I'm sure that's what Coach Rose is telling her right now. You keep doing that until your defender proves that she can stop you. When you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. Right now, Hux has the hot hand for Northport.
And we always make these basketball analogies, right? And I find it so interesting that that's the direction lacrosse is moving, because you look at the modern NBA, the modern WNBA, it's all about matchup hunting, and it's
Correct.
How can you pull out the weakest defender? How can you create the most room? How can you go at that defender? And we see Northport and Carol Rose really embracing that mentality.
Yeah, and that's what's wonderful about both of these coaches, to be honest, because Coach Reed is the same way with her youngsters. I don't care how old you are. If you're the one that's going to get out there and get it done for you, you're the one that's going to be playing. And what Carol's looking at right now is her matchups, and she's saying to Hux, listen, do the rocker step, do what you have to do, get your defender moving, and you're going to beat her every single time.
We'll see if Northport continues to go to that. Again, Huxtable came into this game with just 10 goals, and that's over 17 games. She has 3, and we're still 20-plus minutes left in this one.
Well, she's been battling some injuries this season as well, so for her on a day like today where it's warm and the body's, you can see her braces already off her leg. She had a little, like a quad thing. I don't know what it was. So she took that off at halftime. And honestly, she's just one of the toughest kids out there. And again, for me, personally, it's fun to watch her excel today.
And there's another draw control victory for Grace McCarthy. And you got to figure that's where some of the fatigue has to come in from Hendry, taking the draw control, running the length of the field
Correct.
Over and over again. She was dominant in the circle in the first half, a little bit slower to start the second as Makowicz is off the mark that time.
Lucky that Northport got the ball back. Honestly, the rule reads who's ever closest to the ball at the end line. It doesn't mean, the goalie was actually there when the ball went over, but they gave it to back to Shannon Smith. So, they're lucky on that because Makowicz took a 4th shot with nobody behind the cage really to back her up.
Makowicz, an All-American, heading to Duke. This time moves put on by McLam, and McLam will have free position. And to your point, Tracy, it's those secondary attackers for
Correct.
Northport. McLam, Huxtable, they're taking advantage of, again, the 4th, 5th, 6th
Correct.
defender for Commack, who are all, again, younger players.
Absolutely.
So McLam will dodge and lose possession, but she was knocked by Burke illicitly, so she'll get another try at it.
Yeah, and very lucky that there's no yellow card on that. So the officials are going to let incidental contact go, but, the rule by the law, it should have been a yellow card.
McLam on the bounce attempt off the mark, and this time Bella Campa well positioned, so it'll go back to Commack.
But all this time, Northport has the ball. What a play by Hux. Holy cow.
Huxtable, and then on the pass, and a one-timer for Makowicz. Easy money for Northport. What a sequence for the Tigers.
And again, that's Huxtable and the redefend right there. And if you're a high school player right now, we talk about it. So, Northport turns the ball over, but look at the ride. Hux picks that pass off, and then instead of being selfish and taking it to the hole herself, she sees Makowicz, who's been struggling today, wide open. Let me give my All-American the ball and give her a little confidence today. Huxtable, for me, has been the shining star.
And what could Commack have done better on a clearance? Did you want to throw a little fake and then try and dodge your way up the field, or what do you do?
What you want to do is not be flat-footed, number one, because Hux was able to close in on that pass. But number two is you really have to protect the ball. And you should have looked up and seen Huxtable. But sometimes if you're a young defender in that big moment, you freeze. And then you just want to get rid of the ball. And that's what you're hoping for if you're on the redefend, is that they just want to get rid of it. And then you can make something happen.
And that's part of the experience for this
Correct.
Northport team, right? They've been in so many big games. You have a lot of girls who were a factor as freshmen on that 2019 state title team, an undefeated season. A year ago, they spent the summers playing under some great coaching for the Long Island Yellow Jackets.
Correct.
They've been in these games over and over and over again. Even if Commack has similar talent, they just don't have those reps.
No, not yet, but they will, and they'll watch this film and they'll watch the little things that went wrong, and they'll work on it. I mean, for them, we still have almost 20 minutes left in this game, but if it does turn out in Northport's favor, at exactly 2 o'clock this afternoon.
As Smith dives in and adds to the Northport lead, the Tigers are pouring it on a little bit now. And again, our whole talk coming out of halftime, the tents, the white jerseys versus the black jerseys, you can see Commack just a little more tired in the slightest
Correct.
slippage against this Northport team.
And I said to you, let's see how they react after a 10-minute break. Right now, it was the beginning of the first half was all the hype, all the excitement, all the energy. Now all of a sudden you're sitting in the heat for 10 minutes, down by 4, trying to figure it out, and then that's when that championship pedigree kicks in. And so now it's again, as good as Commack has played, they're still down by 6. And the lead is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's just that veteran presence that Northport brings to the table.
Feels like the 2 big slips for the Cougars. They were certainly winning the majority of the draw controls in the first half, and then defensively, even when they were giving up goals, they were sharp, and Northport really had to work for them. You're not seeing that same work rate from the Tigers anymore.
And they've had a couple of unforced turnovers, which when you're a young team, the unforced turnovers and that's going to be a yellow card. That's a check to the head off the draw.
Yeah, so just a little frustration there for Emma Hendry. And we noted that was an issue for Hendry the first time they played Northport. She picked up 2, and maybe just, again, some of that fatigue, some of that dehydration kicking in a little.
Well, also realizing that that's a big draw. You have to win and now with 2 minutes, if Northport scores 3 or 4 goals here, you're in running time. So it's interesting to see, where Northport goes with this. Do they just start running some time off the clock? Just kind of making sure that, nobody gets injured, no turnovers, no cards themselves.
Smith nearly had a turnover there, able to recover.
And again, if you're a young player watching this game.
Cabrera puts on the moves, and wow, what placement on that shot. She knew exactly what she was doing. Looked like a little bit of a force from up here, but had the angle and took advantage of it.
Well, she did, and I think that might have hit a stick and it changed the trajectory of the shot because it looks like the goalie's going down for it, and it actually ends up going high over her stick. Not a lot of pace on it, but it looks like it changed direction off the shot right there, and you see it go over the goalie's stick. So
40th goal of the season for Ella Cabrera, and we talked about it a little in the open, but that's been the big emphasis for her this year, rounding out her game offensively, and you can see in those numbers she's become a real threat, even in settled situations, was always very good in transition.
And I think that when you look back on this game, what Melissa Reed will end up saying to her team is, moving forward, ladies, when you're playing the top teams, you got to put a full 60 minutes, 50 minutes together. We had a great first half. We had a great 20, 25 minutes. And then after halftime, you have to come back almost tougher than when you went into halftime.
It was a 4-3 game. Northport has scored 7 of the last 8. But now a chance for Commack, trying to ride out this penalty first things first. As Mileniak will take it into the corner. Harassing defense by Angelina Longo. Now circling is Parisi. Parisi, a pretty interesting story. Melissa Reed saying, typically when there are dynamic middle schoolers, obviously she had 3 8th graders starting in her midfield last year. You know about them. She said Parisi, they never even heard of before. She showed up to tryouts, blew them away, and has since become a big part of this team with 18 points on the year.
And again, when you look up and down the roster, and like I was saying, if things hold the way they are, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, Commack begins the 22-23 season. And for them, if they don't take a minute off, you'll see the maturity and everything coming into the next March. And that's what needs to happen. They need to believe in themselves. They need to be confident that they're moving in the right direction, that they have all the pieces in place, and all it's going to take is another year of maturity.
Lily Pettit committed the charge that time, but to your point, Tracy, you look at the roster again. Hendry, a sophomore, 27 points. Lily Pettit, a freshman, 41. We already told you about Amelia Bright, is up to 43 after her exploits so far in this game. There's just a great young core offensively, but also defensively. A lot of the key players are juniors and will be back next season as well.
Correct. So, we don't want to talk about, obviously the game still has 17 minutes left in it, but as a coach, you see them having fun. You see the pride in them. And Northport's just in a different place. Last year they believed that they could have been a state champion. This year that's what they want to.
As Germani stopped by Bradley.
An opportunity to get back to the state tournament, to get to the Long Islands again and possibly get on the bus and go back upstate, which hasn't happened in a couple of years because of COVID.
And Northport, we just described this as Commack as a golden generation. They're on the tail end of another one. Look, when you're Carol Rosen, you have 460-plus wins. There have been a lot of golden generations. But,
there has.
But this is up there, right, with Cabrera, with Makowicz. Having Huxtable as a younger player, Shannon Smith as a younger player, it's just a great group. And even going back to last season's team might have been the best one of this entire run with Lindsay Linville, Sophia Lamandola, Emma DeMarco, Tara Walsh. It was all-county player after all-county player, All-American after All-American. And that's what Commack, maybe not quite to that level, but that's what they're trying to build towards.
100%. And, you have to get through these games. Look, in order to be a gracious winner, you have to learn how to be a gracious loser first, and figure out what you have to do moving forward. And again, they are so fortunate, Commack, to have almost their entire core of their team coming back. What a great feeling. But again, when you look at the goals of these teams, for Commack, it's to beat Northport for the first time in program history, and for Northport, it's to be the 3rd-time state champion. So there's just a little gap right there. But make no mistake about it, Commack is definitely closing that gap.
And you saw it for Commack throughout the season. Melissa Reed was talking about, look, obviously Northport beat us by a lot. It was 16-5 the first time we played, but they beat Smithtown East by 2. We beat Smithtown East by 2. Obviously that doesn't always translate directly to the field, but she was saying before this game, we feel like we're in a similar stratosphere to them talent-wise. Everyone on this team believes that they can do it. And when you have a younger group like that, to your point, sometimes you need that punch in the mouth, and then you come back next year motivated with that extra bit of experience, and next year's the year, or 2 years from now is the year.
Right, and you just remember how it feels. And I used to say it to my team, never take winning for granted and learn your lesson from a loss. And again, we've made many teams' seasons end, and if somebody makes our season end, you just do everything the same way. In a business-like manner, you celebrate privately, and figure out what you need to work on moving forward, or if you're still playing. I used to always say to my team when we were in the county finals of the Long Islands, look around you. Farmingdale fields were empty except for us. That in itself is a victory.
It was a great look inside by Lily Pettit to her fellow freshman, Amelia Bright, and now she'll have a chance to go one-on-one versus Megan Morris. Bright shot it low and hit the back of the net.
I will say that Commack's 8 meters have been impressive today. They have really gotten to the cage. Most of the time they're untouched, unblocked, and they have finished on their 8 meters.
And how about that placement from Bright, Tracy? Isn't that what you always emphasize, going low
Always.
on shots like that?
You got to get the goalie moving. See how her stick's up high, so she's trying to go stick to stick. So if you get the ball low, that's going to force a goalie to have to move their stick position, and a lot of times they can't pick up the ball on that.
And you talk about the speed and athletic ability for Bright, but similar to what we were just saying with Makowicz, how about the footwork there to toe that line and still finish?
And avoid contact. And that's one of those things. I mean, it is supposed to be a non-contact sport. Anybody that plays or coaches this game knows that's really not a true statement. So it is all about understanding to take a hit and keep on going, or to avoid, that heavy contact.
And so a change in draw control for Commack. It's Bright dealing with McCarthy, and that's a tough task for Bright. She's able to chop it out after McCarthy got the win, but then recovered. Well done by Northport. Ella Cabrera coming up to take it.
McCarthy's done a nice job in the second half. Whatever adjustment she's made on the draw has really worked in her favor, and she has given Northport those valuable possessions and keeping Commack at bay.
Certainly changed the tenor of this game. We were thinking going, and that was the great equalizer for Commack, right? If they could dominate the draw controls. And we both had the feeling Commack could have even had it closer, maybe had a small lead in the first half. Weren't able to take advantage of some opportunities. Now that that's flipped, it's just too much in favor of Northport.
That yellow card hurt as well.
Now Emma McLam will have free position once again. She scored the 6th goal of this game.
And for Commack, when they watch this tape, it's just going to be the game of unforced errors. They had, just a few more at the wrong times against Northport,
McLam, a Delaware commit, a triangle of Cougars around her, so she'll just throw it out, and with the Tigers up by 6, there's no need to rush.
There is no need to rush, and as this game gets under the 10-minute mark, the 9-8, you'll see, Carol probably run 2-3 minutes off before they even try to go to goal, because now it also becomes a game of preparing for the finals. Don't want anybody to get hurt, don't want anybody, double carded out or a red card or anything silly at this point. You want all your players, although it has not been that kind of physical game. It's been really clean, actually.
Would set up a big-time rematch with Ward Melville. That was a 9-8 win for Northport the first time around. Probably the 2 top programs in Suffolk.
Correct.
Over the last couple of years. I mean, maybe even further back than that. You know better than I would, Tracy, but that's always a contentious and well-played game.
Yeah, Smithtown East has had some good squads, the last few years. But I would say that, Ward Melville's always right there. And we know their coach, Steph Paragallo, really well. She's amazing. Notre Dame grad. And just one of those coaches that understands the game. And she's just going to continue to take them to a whole nother level.
Bella Lanza on that interception. Passed over the middle. That was an ambitious attempt by Hendry. And it'll be Northport ball.
And that was great hustle on Northport by McGroarty. But Northport can't do that either. So right now what you do is, you have possession. And it is the right play to get it opposite where the defense is, just to make it a little cleaner. But I just don't know how much energy Commack has in the tank right now after a tough game. And again, this heat, let's not underestimate it. We went from 60 and 70 degree temperatures to today. It feels like we're at like Lax for the Cure and it's 110 and we're trying to survive.
And it's worth noting, we're talking about this game as if it's over. Still a 6-goal game, still over, now just under 11 minutes to go. It's going to take a lot, but there is time for Commack if they can get rolling.
Correct.
Hendry able to draw 2. Works it back to Burke. And now turned over, pending the rundown. And again, Northport standing on their heads defensively. That time it was Kennedy Radzul on the chase down.
So now what happens, though, for a Commack, and I get it, you're physically exhausted. And when you're physically exhausted, the mental game starts to slip because you're just trying to breathe. You're sweating, you're tired.
And the Tigers come back the other way with it, but trying to force the issue, and Commack will get it right back.
And I wouldn't be surprised if when you're under 10 minutes, like the 9-8 minute mark, you see Carol call a timeout and say to her team, all right, listen, we're up by 6. This is the strategy. This is what's going to happen on our final possessions here.
So the ride a little bit more aggressive for Northport than it was in the first half, but Kate Hearns able to run it out.
The thing about the zone defense is it's always so exhausting having somebody on you. They really give you no chance to breathe. It's always somebody in your personal space.
Kolomenchuk able to work it in, and that shot deterred by Mileniak, but then finds the back of the net. Not sure if that was pushed in, but either way, Commack has scored 2 in a row, and they're back within 5.
Yeah, I think that hit off of Morris's stick, and then it dribbled into the cage. It was a foul anyway. She would have gotten an 8-meter had it not gone in because she got fouled right there. You see the shot go off. I think Morris got a piece of it, and then it dribbled past her.
So give credit on the goal to Caitlin Mileniak, her 11th on the year, heading to James Madison as a student at the end of this season. One of the 2 seniors in the starting lineup, a big moment for her. And Commack will maybe give it one more goal before we say they're within striking distance, but keeping this game alive.
You can never rest. And that's why, I always say, use the rules to your advantage. There's no reason that Northport needs to force the ball to go to goal. Whether they win by 5 or whether they win by 50, you only need to win by 1. And the only way that you can make sure that you do win is to not let Commack have the ball.
And it's that tough counterbalance, right? Because Carol Rose coaches aggressiveness. They're
does.
always trying to push.
Correct.
And maybe a missed opportunity that time as Lily Pettit had, I think it was, might have been Michaela Burke up ahead of everyone, but now they go quick offensively. Ball missed initially and then finding the back of the net. Amelia Bright recovered and shot it just before hitting the crease.
Amelia Bright's doing a nice job today of just having a nose for the ball, being around the cage, doing what she needs to do to keep her team in this game.
So how about that sequence? It was initially a missed opportunity in transition. The ball was bounced around, and then a scoop and score in traffic for Amelia Bright.
And when we talk about it, now they've scored 2 goals in a minute. So you go from everybody thinking that this game may be over to saying, all right, we're only down by 4 with 9 minutes to go. And certainly lots of teams have been in this scenario before. It's all about the draw control.
And this is a hot take, but I almost think that card for Emma Hendry might have been a good thing. Gave her a second to rest. She's come out. Amelia Bright got the first draw control after Hendry came back in, but then since then Hendry stepped back into the circle and has won 2 in a row.
It gives you time to think, and I'm sure, Coach Reed went over to her and said, just breathe, kiddo, You get 2 minutes break, grab a sip of water, and then go out there and get me some goals back.
So they'll run it back on the draw control. Right around that circle, it's Lily Pettit and Bright, those 2 freshmen for Commack who have been so good in ground ball situations this whole game. Hendry on the chop, and again, too early.
Now, in college, they don't do a redraw. It's alternate possession. So, again, high school needs to start to adapt to the college rules because if there was a shot clock in high school, this game would be a little more interesting.
Hendry versus Shannon Smith, and Hendry getting the better of that matchup. Bright coming up with the ball, and Commack, having scored 3 in a row, has possession.
How many times have we said Bright and Hendry in the last 3 minutes? And what does that mean for the future of this team? Again, when you talk about the players that are stepping up in crunch time, it's players that are not going anywhere.
Lily Pettit, too, has just won
Correct.
so many of those ground balls. Pettit in possession now. A little bit of speed. Triple team finds the back of the net, but a foul before the shot. Oh, that's a shame. That's a heck of a move from Lily Pettit.
That is a shame. And again, a college rule, they're going to let that play on. and if it goes in, you get credit for the goal. You know, that in college you don't take away a goal because the defense makes a penalty. And they're going to discuss it.
I think they're directing the scoreboard operators to keep the clock moving, if I heard that correctly.
Well, it is moving, but it shouldn't be right now because they're having a conversation. They're going to put some time back on.
This is set to 8:20. Lily Pettit against Megan Morris. Commack looking to complete an amazing comeback, and they've scored their 4th in a row. Lily Pettit undeterred, back-to-back goals.
Lily Pettit does a nice job here because she could get frustrated. Northport's going to take a well-placed timeout right here, but you see Pettit on this. And again, she's surrounded by some white shirts, but she takes a diagonal run to the cage, so it's harder for them to cut it off. She seals the defender when she takes that diagonal cut and buries the ball.
A 4-0 run for the Cougars. These underclassmen are special. Commack has made it a game on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effect sets and music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
If you're in a
4 straight goals for Commack. Northport trying to fire up their troops, but this Commack team, they're young, they're hungry, and despite the heat, despite the lack of tent, they still have some energy. Let's quickly take a look at some of the upcoming sportscasts we have on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A whole bunch of good ones. The Catholic League softball finals on May 24th, and then May 26th, a loaded day. The Nassau Class A boys LAC semis, the Nassau Class C girls LAC semis, the Suffolk Class A boys LAC semis, right back here at Northport. And then, of course, the Nassau Flag Football Championship on May 26th. We'll have that all for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Tracy Wiener, you're probably more qualified than anyone in the world, not in that huddle, to say what Carol Rose was saying to her team. Was there frustration? Was there motivation? What was going on in that Northport huddle?
Not frustration at all. Carol is the calming voice of this team when they should be going through frustration. She just said to them, you have a 3-goal lead, 8 minutes to go. We got to win the draw, and when we win the draw, we're going to spread it out wide. We're going to force Commack to chase us. If we get the perfect shot, yeah, we're going to take it. But if it takes 3, 4, 5 minutes to do that, then that's what's going to happen. Me personally, I'd be in an all-out stall for a while because that was always my style, just to pull it out wide and let's see what happens. But that's a...
Oh, and a win initially for McCarthy, but then it was batted forward by Hendry, and coming up with it is Pettit. Pettit on the run, straight to the cage. Now we'll pull it back. But Commack has all the momentum in the world. What a swing of the stick by Hendry to maybe continue this run for the Commack Cougars.
That was great timing on that because she did wait until McCarthy had possession, so it was a legal check. Had she done it before, then it would have been an empty stick check.
Pettit moves it along. Kolomachuk, who's been quiet in the second half, puts on a spin. Now a shot knocked away by Morris.
Nice save by Morris. Maybe not the shot that you want. I don't blame Kolomachuk for taking it. But again, off balance, lefty. Still plenty of time left on the clock, but you never want to take the aggressiveness away from an offensive player ever. But it does give Northport the ball now, and let's see with 7.5 minutes to go if they're very, very patient on offense or they run and gun.
Longo just does get it to Greenberg, who had to make an athletic grab. Greenberg escaping the cascade of black jerseys around her, able to push it up.
She's an 8th grader, Greenberg. I mean, what a mature play right there for an 8th grader.
Northport has some young talent in the pipeline as well. Again, this for years to come going to be one of these signature matchups in Suffolk County.
Agreed. It'll be a battle next year between Northport, Ward Melville, and Commack. And Smithtown East might still be hanging around too.
So the moves put on by another 8th grader in Kate Atkinson.
But you see how patient they're being now.
Carol Rose trusting her youngsters in a big spot. McLam dispossessed from behind, but illicitly by Michaela Burke.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those checks, but what Commack doesn't want to do right now is be over-aggressive and get a yellow card.
That would kill any attempt at a comeback.
Well, they're going to have to pull it out soon. So if I'm Northport, I just continue to stay wide and just play with it out here and force Commack to come out of that defense and make the slides a lot harder.
Smith throws in a couple fakes and just pushes it along to Atkinson.
Yeah, the clock is Northport's friend, obviously. I mean, that's an obvious statement, but it really is right now. And again, with no shot clock, they could literally hold on to the ball for 6 minutes. We joke around and call it the Ward Melville stall. So I did that against Ward Melville for about 15 minutes one game, 1 year.
What was the reaction from the Ward Melville coaching staff after the game as they work it inside to Smith? And now back to Mackie Wicks and a goal for Northport. They stall until something opened up, and a great backdoor cut by Mackie Wicks was that opening.
It was Huxtable. You talk about Hux now. I mean, honestly, the lefty coming through the back door on that, and that's a one-timer. Hux saw that coming a mile away. When you look, and again, that's right to her strong side. She beats her defender. You're not stopping her on that play. That's her 4th goal and none bigger than that one.
And how about that give and go? Because Huxtable threw that pass and she just kept on moving, never stopped.
Well, and that's the IQ of a Northport lacrosse player. You know, just understanding the game at a whole different level.
And what do you think accounts for that? Is that just high-level youth coaching?
It's understanding the game from when you're younger. And again, honestly, Northport, they practice year-round. I mean, a lot of these teams practice year-round, but I know Carol always encourages the girls to have their stick in the hand. And you look at her coaching staff, Alexis Curcio, a former Northport player, played at Delaware, an excellent stick work technician. There's no one better on Long Island. You have Coach Bertolone, who came over from, Mount Sinai, and he works with the goalies and does a great job. And then her children, Kobe's right there. Her son now is one of her assistant coaches, and her husband, Al, has been by her side for the past 30 years. And you can't find a soul on this earth to say a bad word about Manrose. So her coaching staff is on point, and the girls can turn to anyone at any time.
Isabella Germani takes a hard hit after the recovery on the draw control. Will bounce right back up, and Northport, another big draw control as they look to hold off this vigorous Commack comeback for another 5 minutes. Man, it feels like just a minute ago, but the Cougars had that golden opportunity. Hendry got the knock.
Yep.
They got it into the stick of their top option, Kolomaychuk, and just a little off on what was a really tough shot attempt.
But you and I talked about this, that on a game like today, when you get down 4 or 5 goals, it takes all your energy.
As Cabrera dunks it inside, Huxtable had another good chance. She had it chopped out of her stick, and now Commack will get another opportunity offensively, down by 4.
And, you have Carol with her hands on her hips on that one. I think she would have liked to have seen them run a little more time off the clock.
Pettit pushes it up to Mileniak. Now back to Pettit to run some offense. And what is the sense of urgency for Commack? Because you got to figure these girls are tired. They've been out there the whole game. Melissa Reed has not subbed a whole lot, but instead they'll fire quickly and score. Amelia Bright, that is her 5th goal of this game. Again, she is just a freshman.
And again, if I'm at this point in the game, I'm locking her off. I'm just saying, don't let this kid touch the ball. She's killing us, the one kid. And why would we shoot down there with 4 minutes to go and give them any sort of opportunity? But for Commack, they're going to have to scratch and claw this whole game. You see right here, when you leave, everybody's tired. You leave players wide open in front, they're going to bury the shot. But to scratch and claw just to get close to a tie, to get 3 or 4 goals in the last 4 minutes just to be a tie, that's where you really run into that exhaustion factor.
Northport getting all they can handle from this young Commack team.
Northport hasn't subbed a lot either. So, their players have to be feeling it. Again, I don't think anybody understands. It's about 90-something degrees on that turf. And this is the first hot day like this year. And it has to be in the semifinals of the county playoffs.
That's how it goes sometimes as McCarthy chops it back, and what a big-time snag by Germani.
And just play with it now, Northport, for 4 minutes. Let's see if you can run out the clock, ladies.
We probably haven't mentioned this enough, but Northport has won 53 of the last 54 games they've played. They had a 46-game winning streak going into that New Canaan game. They haven't lost against Long Island competition since, I believe, that 2019 state title team. But Northport turns it over here, and Commack will have another chance.
Boy, that's a huge unforced error right there, just trying to get the ball into Cabrera's stick, and it kind of flew out of bounds.
Kate Hearns, a nice job on the clearance. Northport doubling the ball, aggressive along this far sideline, led by Charlotte McGrody. And it'll stay in the stick of Kolomaychuk after Northport got a little too aggressive.
They did. Kolomaychuk's going to feel that one in the morning. Holy cow. She's going to know she played today.
Kolomaychuk puts on a couple fakes. And by and large, Northport has done a very good job containing her scoring. Mileniak, one-on-one with Emma Greenberg, the 8th grader. Parisi back to Hendry. 3-goal game, 3 minutes to go. Spot in the Suffolk Class A Championship on the line. A turn and fire and a golden opportunity off the mark for Kolomaychuk.
But Kolomaychuk's going to get an 8-meter on that anyway. Even though she took the shot, they're going to say that the foul changed the accuracy of her shot. So they're going to give her an 8-meter anyway.
So here we go. Kolomaychuk against Morris, the junior.
Big moment right here for Kolomaychuk.
Kolomaychuk had her shot deflected out of play. Should stay with Commack. It will.
That was a great defensive play there.
Mileniak will center it. Pettit, a burst of speed, trying to beat Greenberg. Centers it back. Kolomaychuk spun towards the net, but cut off well by Angelina Longo.
Boy, Longo does a nice job right there of just forcing her out of a critical scoring area.
Quick footwork from the future Sun Devil. 1:57 to go.
Can you score 3 minutes in 2 minutes? 3 goals in 2 minutes? You can, but you got to score soon.
Pettit lofts it. And
obstruction of shooting space.
There you go. Mileniak. Thanks, Tracy. Mileniak will have quite a bit of room here. A lot of defenders in her vicinity, but down by 3 at this point. You got to figure this is a go-to-goal situation.
Of course.
Mileniak will fire. Morris will deny her. And that could be the game-saving goal. Or save, rather.
Yeah, that was just a great play by Morris, standing her ground. And kudos to her teammates for picking up the rebound and not giving Commack another chance. And Northport should just run it out at this point.
Emma McLam leads the game a keep away. The Delaware commit putting on some spins.
I give Commack all the credit in the world. You know, no matter how much they got down, they kept fighting back, fighting back, fighting back. Not an easy task against one of the top teams in the country. It just shows you that the future is so bright for Commack.
Yeah, asking Melissa Reed what in particular was special about these freshmen. She said, you know, all the talent in the world, all the skill in the world, but they are just killer competitors. They have confidence coming into this game. They're saying, hey, we got to beat Northport at some point. We're going to be the ones to do it. They probably won't get it done today. They will have 3 more years. And look, if Lily Pettit, Emma Hendry, Amelia Bright have anything to say about it, Northport's going to get all they can handle from the Cougars over the next couple of seasons.
But right now, Northport's going to savor this win, and they're going to have to get ready for an extremely tough Ward Melville squad.
Again, that's just a nip and tuck battle the first time those two teams played.
Back and forth game.
Carol Rose saying down the stretch of some of these games, remember, it was 8-7 over Wilton, 9-8 over Ward Melville, 11-9 over Smithtown East. She said the poise, skill level, and confidence of her veterans made the difference, and she's going to hope that they can do it one more time in their pursuit of a Suffolk championship. Northport will run out the clock, and that'll do it. After the penalty, the Tigers will have to hold on for just one more second before they can celebrate.
Well-fought game by Northport, I have to say. Just keeping their composure when they really could have cracked a little bit. And McCarthy winning, those big draws at the end of this game.
The Cougars push the Tigers to their very limits. A big-time comeback, down by as many as 6 goals. They cut it to 3, but they ran out of time, and Northport once again back in the Suffolk Class A championship game. The number 6 team in America survives.
What a great game this is as you see the Tigers celebrate, moving, forward for them. Sometimes, you need these kind of games to keep you tough and to keep you sharp. And for Northport, it doesn't get any tougher than this young Commack team really, preparing them for championship day.
So one final look at that bracket. It's Northport advancing past Commack. It's Ward Melville surviving William Floyd, setting up a matchup of 2 perennial powers in Suffolk County. That'll be next week, but for now, Northport will savor the win. Commack will head into the offseason with a whole lot of optimism, knowing they have one of the best groups of young players, not just in Suffolk, but in Nassau County as well. They have a very bright future, but for now, for Tracy Weiner, I'm Gavin Shaw. A look at our entire fantastic crew here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Plenty of playoff action coming up in the coming weeks, but for now, we'll sign off after a fantastic game.